Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 1:41 a.m. and I just woke up and I was so comfy. And usually, like, when the dogs sleep like right next to me, sometimes it drives me a little crazy. I like it, but sometimes it's like a lot, you know. But tonight they were so extra sweet. Tucker and Boo were both laying right next to each other. Well, both lay next to each other and to me. And I felt so comfortable. And then Alex woke up probably about 20 minutes before I did, because I kept on laying there, and I would say to Boo Radley, I go, here, I'm drinking my Diet Pepsi. I would say to Boo Radley, okay, Boo Radley, just 15 more minutes. Like, he knows what that means. And I was so comfortable, and Alex got up, and we're washing all the bedding, and our comforter, that's like the comforter duvet cover, it's not a duvet cover because it doesn't come off, but it looks like one. The blue one that we got, it's like Marc Jacobs or something. I got it from Bed Bath & Beyond. I actually got a pretty good deal on it. But remember when I got the whole bed setting and everything? Anyway, it takes like 4 or 5 rounds in the dryer to dry it. Like, it takes forever because it's so huge. So we just have like mismatched blankets on our bed right now. So he went and grabbed another blanket. And I said, are you cold? He was like, yeah, I'm really cold. And I said, it's warm in here. And then I stepped outside. We keep our air conditioning set to about 70 in the summers. And then I stepped outside, and as soon as I walked out, I was like, ooh, heat wave. Like, it was really warm outside. So when I got in the car, I looked up the weather. It says it's 86 degrees outside. It said 84 when I got in my car, but I looked it up, and it's 74 outside right now. But it's really nice. It's really warm. And the wind is like blowing a lot, and we had, those people were like up and like in their garage. It's weird. My neighborhood is always dead this late at night. And they were, what was I saying? Oh, it's like windy outside, and it's like, seems like there's gonna be a storm, but the storms have already moved through, although there's a chance for some rain tomorrow too. So I already have my new lip balms, my lip balms out for today, which are both new. I have this Chubby Hubby, or Chubby Chap, Cucumber Melon, which, this was in the vlog where I undid the boxing, but this had been sitting in my car, so I had to put it in the refrigerator so that it would like solidify, because I was afraid it was gonna melt. So I opened it today, and it's fantastic. It's perfect for summer. These Chubby Chap, you can get them on Etsy. It's an Etsy shop, but they're fantastic. So whoever sent this to me, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I really like it. And then today, at my post office box, Lindsay sent me this lip gloss. It's EM Cosmetics, and it's like, I can't remember what it's called, like Wonder Gloss or something like that. But it's really, really nice. I love it. It's much better than my Revlon. I mean, I've had some cheap lip glosses in my life before, you know, that, because it's you can't just say it's bad because it's a cheap lip gloss, because it was like $5.99 or $4.99. I mean, I've had some cheap lip glosses in my life that have been pretty good, you know. I don't think you have to pay high-end for it. Honest to God, the best lip gloss I've ever had, and I'm just telling you based on my experience, but if you're somebody that likes a tinted lipstick or lip gloss, you know, like Tanya wears a lot of tinted lip glosses instead of lipstick. The Manny MUA Lunar Beauty is like the best lip gloss and I had the clear for a while. It's the best lip gloss I've ever had in my entire life, ever. It smells like cake batter. If you don't like your cosmetics to smell like stuff, it smells like cake batter, but it's really nice and it's long lasting. Unfortunately, he got rid of the clear, so they don't have that anymore. Okay, got my drink ready with my little pee cup. So much, love it. Oh, first of all, I want to say thank you to, I think it was Kelly. Kelly was the one that sent me the color changing. She sent me one, and it's like it's the aubergine. It's like, it changes from like a red to a darker red. I actually did use that one. And because I really wanted to see what it did. And she had my name put on the side of it, and she got it from an Etsy shop. She said that she told the woman, and she ordered it from somewhere in Las Vegas, and she told the woman to put a card inside, but the woman didn't put a card inside. But thank you so much, Kelly, for the cup. I really, really appreciate it. And then all of the Hallmark stuff came from Melissa. So thank you, Melissa, so much for the Beanie Baby and the book, which I'll have to show you guys the book. I'm actually gonna do, because I got so many books, and I'm gonna do a booktube like PO haul that people sent me books, because I got like 6 or 7 books. But she sent me this book about, I think it's called Home is Where the Pet Is. It's really sweet. It's always like funny little anecdotes inside. And like I read through them yesterday when I was doing the, not all of them, but I read through some of them when I was doing the PO box unboxing, and like one of them was like, your dog loves you, and you know that because it licks you, but just keep in mind it licks its butt too. It's like real funny little things like that. It's cute. I actually said in my video it'd be like a great gift for Caroline, because Caroline loves anything to do with dogs. So does Melissa. It'd be a great gift for Melissa too, but Melissa's not a big book reader, even if it's just little anecdotal books like that. Anecdotal books like that. Then, did anybody else say in the comment sections the stuff? Nope, I don't think anybody else did, but much better day today. My husband, after he got home from work, we had a bunch of stuff, I'll explain that in a second, but after he got home, we were sitting there, he was like doing some work from home tonight while I was eating Taco Bell. He had already eaten. I was explaining to him about the vlog last night, and he goes, you do that all the time with your memory card. Like, why do you have such a hard time with your memory card? And I said, Alex, I have not done that on my vlog in a long time. Like, I honest to God, I said, I think it was because I had just filmed so many videos yesterday that, like, every time I would open my camera, I thought I was, like, done with the memory card, and so I just deleted it. I don't even know what I was thinking, you know? Because I just don't even understand, I guess, how you could even do that. Like, well, I did. I don't know what to tell you. He's like, babe, you need to be more careful of that so you don't delete something important. I'm like, well, it was important. It was my vlog. It was a half an hour of my life. Because he goes, okay, because this was the thing. I don't think I shared this last night because when I came back. So last night I laid down at like 11:30. I got into bed with Alex. I think it was like 11. I don't know what time it was. But anyway, we lay there and we talked and stuff like that. And so at like, he went to, finally he fell asleep, he turned the light off and he was going to sleep. I have been listening to the 70s and the 80s station all today and yesterday, and for some reason it's reminding me of summers when I was a kid. Which, by the way, funniest thing tonight, Alex and I were sitting there talking, and Alex moved here when he was 12 from Venezuela, and he and I both played tennis growing up. And I was telling him, because I said this on my review channel, do you know, like, sometimes with your partner, you like, there's pieces of your lives that, like, I mean, I guess they're secrets, but not really, you know, like, that you just, like, have never mentioned to the other person, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, he knows, like, I've talked about playing in tennis camps and playing, you know, tennis, like, with coaches when I was growing up, and he said the same thing. He was like, you know, he would say, like, when we talked about tennis, we've played tennis a couple times, he would say, yeah, me too, and when I was in Venezuela, you know, like, Carlos had like a private, he was like, we both played tennis, but Carlos had like a private baseball coach, and I had a private like tennis coach when I was like growing up, and blah, 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 whatever. And he was like, because they're his parents, like his family is like really, the whole family is really into sports. And so, and he was like, yeah, when I came here, I played tennis camps too, but we've never like talked about the tennis camps. And so tonight he said, I was telling him, I said, when I used to go to tennis camp in the summer in the mornings, I would be sitting in the back seat with my racket, and I would be like, the handle of the racket was my microphone, and I'd be like, my baby takes the morning train. And he was, and I said, and I just kind of paused, and I was like, I can't believe I used to play tennis like 5 days a week, every day in the summer, and then on the weekends with like my mom or my dad, you know? And he said, I used to go to tennis camps at North Central High School. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I used to play tennis camps at North Central High School, like my first 2 summers here. And I said, that's where I played. he was like, really? And I go, yeah, I mean, I played in leagues in the evenings, but that's where I played during, like, the day. That was, like, we started laughing. 'Cause we were both, I mean, obviously, you know, 12 years apart, but, like, we were at the same camp. And then what's interesting about it is that the woman that runs the camps, they're still going on to this, well, not this summer, they're not, but the woman that runs the camps, her daughter-in-law is my friend that passed away from cancer. And Alex knew her, and he knows her daughter, who, you know, we're kind of friends with. And I said, oh, that's so-and-so, you know, and he goes, oh, I never knew that. I was like, and then I was like, have we had this, I feel like we've had this conversation and we're both forgetting it. Do you ever have that, you know? That plane looks so low, there's like clouds, and it's like this, it almost doesn't even look like a plane. It's like super low. I wish I could turn it around and show it to you, but to you, it doesn't even look like a plane with the light situation going on. It's like so low that it's like keep on going, and it doesn't even seem like it's that far away. If I pull over to try to record it though, like at this point, like, I don't know, it almost kind of seems like it's turning around. The sky is cloudy. I'm gonna have to go back here for you guys to see it. You're not gonna be able to see it. Oh, that's weird. It's like kind of moving side to side. Do you see that up there? I mean, it looks like the lights are lights, but oh, it just went behind the tree. It's really low though. Oh, there you can see it now. It's coming out the other side. That's really weird. It was like going in a certain direction, and now do you see it? It's coming. Well, it was for a second. God, that was weird. Anyway, I mean, the lights were flashing like a plane, but it wasn't moving like a plane. It was like really low, and then it was like, it kind of like went to the side. Oh, there it was again. Can I see it from over here? So anyway, I don't know what I was saying. I've lost all train of thought now at this point. I've gone in 15 different directions. But so Alex basically was like, before we were at the tennis thing, he was like, I just don't understand how you like delete all that memory card stuff. I want to say, do you want to talk about the fact that like you'll take the trash out and leave the kitchen where the pantry door open where we keep the trash can, and then you never even refill the trash can, and you take a glass down to fill it for water, and never, I mean, we're literally like the house of not being able to stay focused. So, yeah. There were so many things I showed, like cute little things I showed in the video. It makes me really sad, but I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. So, I feel like I was talking about something. I was talking about a couple things, and I got off track. Oh, this is what I was gonna say about last night. So, last night, I tried to lay down, and I was gonna lay down. I may have said this last night at the beginning or at the end. I don't know when I said it, but I know I said it at some point. I was trying to lay down with Alex, and I had set my alarm for like, I was so tired because I had gotten up yesterday morning so early, because I had gotten up to like take my car in and stuff. And I had been going all day long. And it was like, I was just exhausted, you know? So I was gonna lay down till like 1:45 and then get up and vlog and then come back and go to bed early. I was gonna vlog for like exactly an hour and then be in bed by like 3 or 3:30, which I know to some people seems late, but to me, I could still get up at like, you know, 10:30, 11 that way, and then I could have like gotten up a little bit earlier each day going forward. Well, last night, I couldn't really sleep. Like, I was laying there and I was comfortable. I mean, I probably could have fallen asleep if I had really tried, but I was laying there and I was like, if I sleep, I was so tired that I was afraid. I mean, physically I was tired, but mentally I was awake, and I was like, if I fall asleep and I wake up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, then I'm gonna really sleep late tomorrow, and I was really worried about it. So I went out and started vlogging. I was like, okay, I'm gonna vlog now, then I can listen to a little bit of my audiobook, and then when I come home, I'll be done. It was like, at that point, it was like a little bit after, it was like, I feel like it was like 12:07 or 12:08, like I remember like that specifically, and I was like, then I'll be home by like the latest at like 1:30, and I'll be in bed at like 1:30, 1:45, right? Even if I vlog like an hour and a half. So I was like, I told Alex he was going to sleep, and I said, I'm just going to go vlog now. And he was like, okay. He was like, I thought you were tired. And I said, well, I am. I said, but this way I can get up early tomorrow and I can get stuff done. He goes, okay. So then I had all of this difficulty with the vlog, and then I ended up listening to my audiobook for a little bit longer. Then last night, you know, when I finally got the vlog rendered and up and stuff like that, it was like almost 5 o'clock in the morning. And so while it was rendering so that I could upload it, so when I woke up today, it would just be ready to post, I watched an episode of 13 Reasons Why, and it really screwed with my head. I watched I watched the whole 4th episode and half of the 5th episode, and after that, I laid in bed and I just couldn't sleep. Like, it really brought up stuff, and it's just a lot. The show is a lot. And if you're somebody that's really sensitive to mental health issues and anxiety and things like that, it's severe cases of anxiety in season 4, but I wouldn't recommend watching season 4. It's a lot. It's really, really, really a heavy show. I don't know. I mean, I watch it because I want to find out what's going to go on, but like, even to me last night, it was a lot, and it's a lot. So then I couldn't sleep, and then I woke up today, and I got the dogs, took them outside, did all that kind of stuff, fed the birds and the squirrels. I do that every morning, because like they'll come down, like if I'm standing out there with Boo and Tucker, they like swoop down and stuff, like if there's no food out there now. It's really funny. And so I, you know, give them a half a cup of their food and stuff every morning and put it out there, which is so funny because like we go back to bed for a little bit and they must come down and eat it because it's always gone by the time that I get back out in the afternoon. So, but this morning there were bunny rabbits and everything outside. So I watched this one bunny rabbit. He was so slow moving across the yard. It was so cute. And he was like, he would hop and then he would like eat a little bit of grass and then he would sit up. They're so still. Have you ever watched a bunny rabbit like in the yard? If you're just watching it and it doesn't really know you're there. They're so completely still. And then he would like hop a little bit, like 1 foot, and then he would eat a little bit more, and then he would just sit up. It was the sweetest thing. So, took the dogs back inside. I was like, let's go back to bed. I was exhausted. That was at like 8 o'clock. Because I was just like, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to get so much accomplished today and whatever. Well, I slept till this afternoon. And I woke up and I was just beating myself up when I got up. I mean, it was literally like 2 something. And as soon as I woke up, Alex had texted me. And so Alex currently is still driving his Kia. So he had like a Kia SUV. That's what Alex leases cars. I'll explain that in a second. But like, he brought home the Jeep last night, but his Kia was at the dealership where he leased his new Jeep from. So he had just filled the gas tank on the Kia because he didn't expect to be, his lease isn't up until July, so he didn't expect to be bringing the car home last night. But he has a full tank of gas. His monthly lease payment is prorated. Like if he takes it back, like he'll get a certain amount of money back, right? But he's like, I just put a tank of gas in there, so I feel like I should drive it this week and then take the Kia back on Saturday. So that's what his plan is. So I was like, okay, instead of wasting the gas money, right? Or the gas. So I was like, okay. So he's like, can you, when I come home, he was like, can you take me to the dealership to drop off my car? And I was like, yeah. So he came home and I was finishing up stuff with videos and whatever. I did like a drama video today, a Peterisms video, a review video, and I was gonna do a booktube video, but I didn't get to it. But I've actually been posting I've been doing driving vlogs on my booktube video. Like, so if you like the vlogs over here, you want to hear about books, go over to my booktube channel. I've been posting vlogs like the last 3 or 4 days. So I took him to the dealership, which was about 25 minutes away, and then followed him home, and then we were like almost home. I went, and he had already eaten, so he was like, he wasn't hungry. He had eaten a late lunch. So I went and got Taco Bell, which was horrible for me, but I don't care. It was delicious. And I came home, and while he was working on some stuff, I sat and watched 2, I don't know what they were, 2 game shows. One was like, on one side you had these 3 people that were like master experts, and on the other side you had 3 like challenger, it was called like Challenger Master or something, like Challenge the Master or something like that, I don't know. The host is this woman, she's very pretty, she reminds me of a friend of ours, and it was a good show, I liked it. It was like Jeopardy is basically what it was, kind of, but it had like 6 people instead of 3. And then the other show I watched, I can't think of what the guy's name is, he's a comedian, and he was in like, he is one of the like radio, like one of the personalities that like he and this woman, and you know like those, what are those movies with Anna Kendrick? Oh shoot, where she does the Cups song, the singing groups, do you know what I'm talking about? The college campus singing groups, and then when they go to like the nationals, why can't I think of what those movies are? Pitch Perfect. He's like the guy with the woman that like, they're always like, you know, emceeing the show, like of what's going on in the background. Not emceeing it, but you know what I mean. So anyway, the little box that's supposed to focus on me is like literally floating all over the camera, so I don't know that it's gonna like be focused on me or not. But anyway, he hosts this game show. I don't know what it's called, but I've watched it before. It's like these people, 4 people stand around this thing, and then it's like, okay, so for example, it was like tonight, like one of the questions was, if you were going to a seance, 3 things you might see, or the 3 things you might expect are, and it was like 3 answers, and it was like C dash, and then the dash is as long as the word is, and then it was like G dash, I don't remember what the 3rd one was, it was another C word, I think, it was like 2 C words, but it was candles, grandma, and I don't remember what the other one was, but it's stuff like that. And then they do like a fast one. They're all basically rip-offs of Family Feud, and then that came on and I watched that. I watch Family Feud literally every night. Do you guys know that? Is that another little secret that I'm telling you guys? I'm obsessed with Family Feud. And now I did talk about that on here the other night. And now my husband is obsessed with it too. And he shouts answers. And in fact, he was working on the computer on like some stuff tonight. And he was at the table when I was sitting there eating and watching it. And he said, when I was watching the one show, he said, I'm going to have my AirPods in so I won't be able to hear you. And I said, okay. And then when Family Feud like came, when I saw him like take off his headphones and he was like answering answers. So it's kind of like our family thing that we watch like Family Feud together. What weirdness is going on tonight? Did you guys hear that? It was like the wind, but it sounded like somebody talking. That was so weird. So we watch. I'm like trying to get scared or something tonight. I don't know what it is. Reading that Night Stalker book is a lot. Oh my God. He was a scary person. So anyway, what was I gonna say? No, I totally forgot. So I watched Family Feud tonight. Yeah, I watched like a whole episode of that. I love that show so much. I don't know why I like it. I like these homie shows. Like, I watch, Alex likes this one too. He, like, if you ask him, he would say no, he thinks it's stupid, but he watches it whenever I watch it. Chris Lee Knows Best. And it's so scripted, even though they act like it's not scripted. And I sit there and watch it and just laugh my butt off at Faye and Todd and all of them. It's so dumb. It's just so dumb, the whole thing. It's this whole show. Like, if you've never watched it, it's Todd and his wife Julie, and they're real rich, but like, they're always just like getting themselves into these stupid little antics, and at the end of the day, it's always like Julie and Todd in bed, and like the kids all walk in, and it's kind of like a rich person's Waltons. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, except it's a reality show, but it's not, because it's so staged that it's like fake as hell. Where am I at on time? Okay. And, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So that was kind of my day. I went to review, the cinnamon churro frappuccino today. It was so good. And, I was gonna do the cups, because, I was gonna review the, what do you call it, the color changing cups, but I might do that tomorrow, Tuesday. I might do it Wednesday, and do another frappuccino tomorrow. We'll just have to see. Depends on what my day looks like. No, tomorrow is Wednesday. So, okay, the battery died, which is okay, because I had to pull in here so I could change it, which is okay, because I was almost at the end anyway. I was almost at 30 minutes. But, so I went to Starbucks today and to review did I call it chalupa? The cinnamon churro. I might have said chalupa, I don't know. It just got so hot in here. Oh, American Pie by Don McLean is on the radio. I love that song. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. I'll tell you a little story in a second. So anyway, but while I was at Starbucks, so Josh, the barista, texted me. I love that he's referred to as Josh, the barista. He texted me like right before I was leaving to come over there. He texted me his picture of these cards. And I was like, oh my, and it said like, happy birthday, Peter, on the front of them. And I was like, oh my God, and what is this? And he was like, a very excited young lady dropped these off for you. And he goes, and by the way, happy birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday. And I said, well, it's not until June 29th. But, so I went through Starbucks and picked up my cards and did my review and everything like that. It was so nice. It was really nice that they held on to them. I felt kind of bad. Like, they're probably like, now Peter's driving through here getting his mail as well, you know. But they were very nice about the whole thing. And they actually acted kind of excited for me, so that was sweet. But so Felicia got me birthday cards, which was very sweet. And that was kind of fun to, like, you know, that was unexpected today, so that was nice. Yeah, and then I did that, and then I came home, and then it was getting later, and I was trying to get my videos done so that by the time that Alex got home, we could just go over and he could pick up his car. So, got his car. He is going to drive the Kia for the rest of the week. So anyway. I don't know what else. I'm out here by Conner Prairie. I wonder if Conner Prairie is haunted. It's a prairie settlement. whenever I drive by here late at night, it always reminds me of, I feel like maybe I'm confusing two movies, but I don't know. There was this movie, and it was with the second Becky from Roseanne. I don't know, I think her name was Sarah. Is Sarah Chalk the first one or the second one? I think she's the second one. But it's from with the second Becky from Roseanne. If you watch Roseanne, you'll know what I'm talking about. They had two Beckys. They even made fun of it in an episode and everything. And it was called like I'll Be Seeing You, or I can't remember what it was called, but it was this Halloween made-for-TV movie. I have it, actually. I hate saying this anymore. I really do. But I have it on VCR in my basement. I do, though. I truly do. And I think it's called I'll Be Seeing You or something like that. And it's about this girl, and she moves to like Salem, Massachusetts or somewhere like that, of course, right? And basically moved there from California. And she like can read tarot cards and the Ouija and all kinds of things. Like she's real, you know, into all that. And her mom is single, and so there's like this group of kids in town, and they're called I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically like descendants of the original founders of the city, like people that came over, you know, from on the Mayflower or whatever, and killed these witches. And they think she's a witch, and they think she's come back because it's like the anniversary of something. And she's not like that, but they think she is. And so anyway, why do I feel like that isn't the same movie though? Like, because at one point somebody works at one of those prairie settlements. Maybe that is her. I wish I could remember what that movie is called. I'll look it up here in a second. If you've never seen it, it's actually pretty good. There are so many made-for-TV movies that have like really, like, even though they're so bad, they're like not even that great of the movie. Like the Mayflower Madam. Like I talked about that one night on here with Candace Bergen. It was a true story about the Mayflower Madam. She was a woman that did come down. It's so hard to find these movies too. Like I was looking at last night, Daddy's Dying, Who's Got the Will, and there's literally nowhere to watch it. I thought the whole thing was on YouTube, but it's not. There's literally nowhere to watch it. And all these movies that I want to see, other than buying the DVDs or something off of eBay, you can't really find these things anymore. So there was a movie called The Mayflower Madam, and it was with Candace Bergen, and she played, this was like probably before Murphy Brown, if you guys remember that show, that she was famous for. But she played this escort agency madam. Okay, I had to stop the camera because I started telling the story about a friend of mine, a very personal story. But anyway, I digress. We'll get back to what I was talking about, which was TV movies, basically. So there was this movie I started talking about, which was called The Mayflower Madam, and it was based on the book by Cindy Biddle Barrows, it was a true story, and I just talked about this not too long ago on here. She was like the madam of an escort agency, and she had worked for an escort agency, and then because she couldn't find another job, and she wanted to run it differently, and she wanted to treat the girls better and get them medical benefits and things like that. So anyway, but I watched that movie when I was like in high school. There's been so many made-for-TV movies that have just really stuck with me my entire life. Like, I really would like to watch it again because it's been a really long time since I watched it, but I feel like it's a long made-for-TV movie. And it was called I Know My First Name is Steven. And it's about a kid that is kidnapped. But that's not really what it's about, because like at the beginning of it, the guy that kidnaps him kidnaps another kid, like years later, and then he saves the kid and is kind of seen as this hero, and he's returned to his family, but it's been like 10 years, and it's just like him getting like connected back. That was a true story too. All of these are basically true stories of the world, you know. I always wonder kind of how true they are. And then of course, Death of a Cheerleader with Tori Spelling. Melissa and I both love that movie. Melissa more than me, but Melissa could probably quote the whole movie by heart. And then Mother May I Walk with Danger, but I don't think that's a true story. That might be, but I don't think it is. And then that's with Tori Spelling as well. My friend, she used to have, before she moved to Las Vegas, she used to have, like, I can't remember what night of the week it was. It's like Mondays or Wednesdays or Thursdays. I think it was Mondays. She would have Lifetime movie dinner parties with like 6 of us. It was so funny. And we would sit there and we would watch these Lifetime movies. And we watched one night The Client List with Jennifer Love Hewitt. It was so bad. And then we also watched another night we watched The Craigslist Killer. That was really, really, really bad. The Client List was about, are you seeing a theme here? The Client List was, tragedy is basically the theme. All kinds of tragedies. The Client List was with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and they turned it into a TV show, I feel like. And she was a prostitute. And at first, like, she worked like one of those massage parlor deals. I don't know why that just sounded so funny to me. Those massage parlor deals. Oh my God, I don't know why that is so funny to me. Anyway. Oh God. So anyway. I got laughing with Tanya so hard the other day. I said, I feel like sometimes when you get to the point where you just like, you have the giggles, you know, and you just can't get rid of it. And it's like anything sounds stupid, you know what I mean? Oh my gosh. So anyway. I don't know why that sounds so funny to me. You know what it reminds me? It reminds me of that interview that I was watching with Eileen Mornes, which today it was funny because I was like reading something on Twitter, you know, because I spend the majority of my life finding drama on social media that doesn't matter. Like, that's really the purpose of my life at this point. I do love it though, it is fun. But anyway, and somebody said something. They said something like, it was like, you could tell, it was like, I don't know, it was in somebody's thread and they were like fighting, and the person said something like, your mom, and the person responded to them with a picture of Eileen Mornos. I don't even know why that was funny to me. But that one interview with Eileen Mornos was so sad. It's like the last interview she did with Nick, the guy that directed those the guy that directed those documentaries. I've got to pull it together, or the rest of this documentary is going to be just giggle central. That when he says at the end of it, she freaks out, but like before that, he said, "Do you think that like had you had like a normal upbringing, you could have you know, had a somewhat normal life?" And she's like, I don't know why this part was so funny to me when she said it, because she's like up in the camera and she's like real serious with those eyes that were like black of evil, and she's like, oh yeah, like if I had come, she's like doing this deal with her hair, you know, with at that point she can't even get a brush, so she just goes like that to get the feathers. Okay, the giggles got really out of control because I started talking about Eileen Mornos and telling this funny story about, anyway, so, but there's a part in the interview where it's like her last interview that she does with Nick, and I don't know why it cracks me up so bad when it's very sad, but at the same time, just the wording, I don't know why it cracks me up. And she says, he's like, do you think like if you had had a normal upbringing, like you would have turned out different? And she's like, she's like, you know, anyway, she's this is I'm going down the same path I went before. I gotta stop. Okay, so she's like, yeah, she's like, you know, if I came from like Christian folk that like, I mean, she had like the worst childhood possible, right? And she's like, yeah, I think I could have turned into something like an archaeologist. And she's like way up in the camera, you know, and she's so confused. And she's like, I think I would have, and she's like counting it off on her hand too. She's like, I would have either been like, well, she couldn't have been because she had her hands linked. How'd she do it then? I can't remember in the interview. Maybe she does have her do it with her hands. She's like, police, she says archaeologist, doctor, lawyer, police gal. She says police gal. And every time I watch this interview, which I watch it a lot, I don't know why, but I just do. And there's something just so devastatingly sad about Eileen Wuornos. I mean, she did horrible, horrible things, right? Like she did, and I don't condone that, obviously. But there's something so sad and tragic about her. And so I watch this, I just like watch the interviews over and over and over again. But anyway, but every time she says police gal, I don't know why it's so funny. It just cracks me up when she says police gal. For a long time, when people would ask me what I did for a living, like if Alex and I went to like dinner parties and stuff, which I don't go to many dinner parties these days, not even including the COVID, you know. But if I would like meet somebody that was like real snooty, you know, that was just like the first thing they say, so Peter, what do you do for a living? You know, after I knew they had like 4 PhDs, you know, and whatever, and ran some like neuroscience program at Butler University or something, they'd be like, so Peter, or IUPUI or something, they'd be like, what do you do for a living? And I'd be like, well, I'm a meter maid. And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, you know, like the parking meters, you know, like in downtown and Broderpool and stuff, like I manage those. Like I walk and I give people tickets and stuff. Really? Oh, interesting work. I think so. I enjoy it, you know. Get to be outside. Even the cold days is not bad, you know. They would just walk away like, what? Meter maid was always my go-to. But I wish I had known police gal. I would have said police gal, I think. If anybody asks me in the future, so Peter, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a police gal. If that doesn't work out, I might be an archaeologist. I think that's the stupidest question, is when people ask you what you do for a living. I mean, I've asked people that, don't get me wrong. I mean, especially when you just stand there, it's like, so Alex, you know, like, we'll go out to dinner with, like, a girlfriend of his, and it'll be, like, Alex and the girlfriend, and then, like, me and the husband. And so, you know, I'm stuck sitting there, and trying to be friendly, and I'm like, so, how long have you guys been married? You know, like, because the questions I care about are not the questions they care about. And then I'm like, so what do you do for a, you know, like, if we get into that question and they ask me, I'll be like, so what do you do for a living? Oh, well, I'm in finance, which means absolutely nothing to me. Finance could mean I work at a bank. It could mean I make a lot of money doing something that I will never be able to explain to you because you're too stupid to understand, being me, because I'm way too stupid. Or it could mean stockbroker. It could mean accountant. It could mean police gal. No, I don't know. I don't know what a finance means when people say that. I'm in finance, you know. It was funny because the neighbors across the street are moving in, and so I met her today, and I like walked out there, and I had literally just woken up, and I was walking out to get the mail, and it was like her and her friend in the driveway. And so I said, oh, are you guys the new neighbors? And the friend looked at me and she goes, just helping for the day. I was like, okay. And then the other woman like came out and she was like, I'm moving in. She was like, I'm your new neighbor. And I said, oh, hi. And I'm not even thinking, right? I like go over with my hand and she goes, COVID, like that. And I go, oh, sorry. I forgot for a second. And, so I was like, well, I'm Peter, and, you know, I live across the street if you guys need anything. And she was like, oh, She was like, thanks. And I kind of like, she kind of like did like a once over on me. I go, I know I look horrible. I said, I just woke up not too long ago. I go, I'm up real late at night. No, she said, she goes, yeah, I heard you're up really late at night. You work really late at night. I work really late at night. I go, yeah, I make videos. Then they just looked at me and I thought, God, they probably think I'm doing pornos or something like that. I just said, no, I'm a police gal. I swear I'm a police gal. Some days I'm an archaeologist, but mostly I'm a police gal, you know? Oh my God, my poor father, you know? When I was a kid, I wanted to be Wonder Woman, so he made me an entire Wonder Woman costume. Good thing I didn't want to be a police gal. What was that movie, or that show with the chick that was in, what was that movie called? Not Body Double, but the one where was it Play Misty for Me? No, that wasn't what it was. That was with Clint Eastwood. What's the movie where she is in the elevator, and, she gets strangled in the elevator or something like, what is that movie called? Why can't I think of what that called? It's with, shoot, why can't I think of what that movie is called? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's really a scary movie. I feel like her name was like Angie something, like Angie Dickinson or something like that. But she ended up being in a TV show that was about a police cop. I used to watch Cagney and Lacey. I guess I did kind of want to be a police gal. I loved that show. My mom and I would watch it. We watched it all the time. I loved that show. I would like to have like the box set of that show. That's a show I would go back and watch again. That was really a good show. I thought I watched every episode of that show too. We watched it like the entirety of it. TV movies. What were some of the other TV movies that have really stuck with me? Well, a lot of Christmas ones, like Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. I probably know every word of that show. She gets kidnapped, or they think she gets kidnapped at the beginning of it, but like, she just breaks the window in her room. The butler says, she has so many clothes. Is anything missing? Well, now that's hard to notice. She has so many clothes. So anyway, I always fast forward it right to the part where she's in the mountains, because that's my favorite part. And she walks into the cabin and her friend made her squirrel stew. She goes, you think of everything. Squirrel stew, you think of everything. Like your friend would just get the house ready for you and just leave a pot of boiling stew on the stove, not even knowing when you were going to show up. Do you ever think about what stupid stuff we believe in TV shows? You know, like that. Oh my gosh. What other made-for-TV movies did I love growing up? Okay, well, there was one with Angela Lansbury, and it was a Christmas movie. And I think it's called, like, oh, shoot. I can't think. And the other woman in it is famous, too. And she, like, her husband's family owned this business, or her family owned this business. Now her husband's running into the ground, and Angela Lansbury's dead, and she comes back. I actually loaned this movie to a friend of mine and never got it back. I was really pissed about it. I loaned her all these Christmas movies, and then just, I never got it back. I wasn't happy about it, but her life was going through hell, so I guess I totally understand it. But anyway, her well-being is more important than my Christmas movies, which I have like replaced some of them, but I can't remember what that one was called, but I did buy that one on eBay. And then, oh, Season of Miracles with that woman that was in Spy Kids. And you know what, like, I don't know what horror movies she was in, but she was at that Horror Hound weekend, and I saw her there, and I was like, oh my God, her name's like Carla Guarini or Garliani or something like that, and she looks exactly the same in person. I could not believe it. I about died. And I was like, oh my God, and I'm sitting there, and Jason's like, yeah, Jason, Melissa's husband, was like, oh, I almost, anyway, sometimes I forget that I'm talking in a vlog, which is why I've had to like start stopping it and stuff like that. So anyway, he was like, oh, he was like, yeah, she's from that Spy Kids show and something else, some other movies she's famous for. And I go, she was in Season of Miracles, the Christmas movie with Patty Duke Aston. He goes, Patty Duke Aston. I go, yes, Season of Miracles, the cinnamon rolls from the sisters across the street. It's only the best Christmas movie in the entire world besides Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton. Please, Cal. Back in the day, I used to say, girl, please, all the time. I would say, girl this, girl that, girl, please, right? Like, my friends would make fun of me because I said girl so much. But you know, girl, please is very close to police, police gal. So I'm gonna make merch that says police gal on it, but it'll be like, please girl, please gal, but instead it'll be police gal. Get it? And on the back it'll say, and sometimes an archaeologist. And only those that get it will get it. At that Horror Hound weekend, they had t-shirts and stuff that had like Charles Manson's face on it and Ted Bundy's face on it and stuff, and like a lot. There was like this one booth that was like every serial killer's like pillows with their faces on it and stuff. And Melissa was gonna get something. I can't remember what she was gonna get. She was like, it was like a coffee mug or something. And she was like, what do you think? And I said, I don't know what I think about. I don't know how I feel about that. Now I have a true crime book club. Who'd know? You know, I guess I had one then, didn't I? I'm dying to pull in here and find out what this Angie Dickinson movie is. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue. Sometimes I like to not look it up because I like to try to figure out what it is. Play Misty for me was not, it's not that though, because that's with Clint Eastwood. But maybe Angie Dickinson's in Play Misty with me, and I'm thinking of somebody else that was in this movie. Do you guys know who Angie Dickinson is, even? Do you know who Vera Miles is? Vera Miles was in so many movies back in the... She was like a character actress. Okay. I know as soon as I see it, I'm gonna die. If you guys have ever seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about because... Here, it pulled her right up. She's in an elevator and she's like... blonde hair, very sexy. This is not her. Police Woman was her show, and it was from 1974 to 1978. Dressed to Kill. Here it is. Who was in it with her? Oh, Nancy Allen was in that. I forgot. And Michael Caine. Nancy Allen. What happened to her? When Liz Blake, Nancy Allen, a prostitute, sees a mysterious woman brutally slay homemaker Kate Miller to Angie Dickinson, she finds herself trapped in a dangerous situation. While the police think Liz is the murderer, the real killer wants to silence the crime's only witnesses. Only Kate's inventor son, Peter, believes Liz. Peter and Liz team up to find the real culprit, who has an unexpected means of hiding her identity and an even more surprising motivation to kill. I remember who did it though, so I don't need to watch the movie again. What happened to... Do you guys remember Nancy Allen? She was in that movie too. She was also in that movie with John Travolta, where it was like he took the pictures and like they saw a murder happen on the pictures. It was so good. She's 69 years old. Oh, she looks fantastic. Nancy Allen is a retired American actress. She came to prominence for her performance in several films directed by Brian De Palma in the 1970s and early 1980s. Her accolades include a Golden Globe Award nomination and 3 Saturn Awards. For what, I wonder? Oh, she's got all these books out. The Code of the Hills and Ozark's Mystery. A Killing in the Creek and Ozark's Mystery, huh? Blowout. That was the movie that she was in. Oh my god. And she was in Carrie. The original Carrie. Poltergeist 3. I don't remember. Oh, she played the mom in Poltergeist 3. That was one of the scariest ones to me that took place in the... It took place in the, what do you call it? Oh, she's been in tons of movies. Children on the Corn, 666, my lord. Terror in the Aisles. I used to always want to get that movie at the video store with my dad, I remember. It came out in 1984. And I feel like it was just a movie that talked about scary movies. Oh my god, she was in so many movies. Terror in the Aisles. It has a skull in the front of it. Donald Pleasence and Nancy Allen narrate the collection of snippets from landmark horror, crime, and science fiction films from the 1930s to the 1980s. Classic movies such as The Exorcist and Friday the 13th are featured, accompanied by Allen and Pleasence's explanations of different explanations of different concepts of the genre. Alfred Hitchcock, whose films Psycho and The Birds are featured, also makes an appearance, using his expertise to deconstruct the means by which to build tension. Donald Pleasence is gone. Alfred Hitchcock is gone. Do you guys know who Donald Pleasence was? He played Detective Loomis in the Halloween movies. Such a great actor. I'm trying to think of other TV movies. I feel like there's so many that now I can't even, like, think. What TV movies back in the day? Well, there were, like, real famous ones, like the Thornbirds and stuff, but, like, I didn't watch those. Those were, like, really long, and, I mean, those were kind of, like, a little bit before my time. Carpenters are singing right now. Sing a song, sing it loud, sing it strong. I sang that for like a 7th grade choir concert, I think, or 6th grade choir concert or something. What were some of my other favorite TV movies? Now I can't even think. Just interesting, like some days I feel sharper than others. Like last night when I saw, you guys might not have even heard about this, but because I don't know what part of the vlog it was in, but when I went to the grocery store last night, I ran into my friend that I grew up with and went to elementary, kindergarten, junior high, elementary, junior high, high school, college, graduate school, and she's the one that came and picked me up from treatment. And the last time I ran into her was at Meijer, and I ran into her yesterday at Meijer. So we stood there for like an hour and a half, and we talked forever. It was so fun seeing her. And like yesterday, my mind was like really, really sharp. Like I was like, do you remember this? Do you remember that? She was like, how do you remember all this? And she was sharing stories with me, and I was sharing stories with her. It was really fun. But other days, like some things that she was saying was like setting off memories. Like I was like, oh my god, and then this, and then that, and then whatever, But there are other times I just like tonight. I'm just like, I can't think of any of my favorite made-for-TV movies. Oh, I was gonna look up that movie with Sarah Chalke in it. Well, I'm gonna be up here in a second. I'm gonna pull in this gas station, so I'll look it up then. I think it's called We Were Waiting for You or something like that. But I don't know if that's the same one. Oh, well, I will tell you a couple other ones. Wasted, it was an MTV movie. And it was these 3 kids, and it was about heroin addiction. It took place in, like, Plano, Texas, I think. And it was really, really good. And then we should show it in treatment. And then Her Last Chance with Kelly Martin. Love, love, love. And it's about this girl. And it also, like, her best friend in the show is the girl Sharon from My So-Called Life, which I absolutely love that TV show so much. Oh my god, is this pizza place open this late at night? Say it ain't so. It looks like it's straight up open. It can't be. How could it possibly be open this late at night? Are there people in there? Oh, there are! Oh my God, are they open? They can't be. No. I wonder why they're in there so late at night. Anyway, yeah, it's Sarah Chalk. She's the second. She's the one that was in it. She's the second Becky. Okay. Here it is. I've been waiting for you. 1998. A teenager interested in the occult moves to a small New England town whose occupants hide a shadowy past and unwittingly find herself drawn into a centuries-old saga of persecution and fear. Release date, March 22nd, 1998. I guess it wasn't a Halloween movie then. Oh, Soleil Moonfry was in it, who played Punky Brewster in Marquee Post. It was such a good movie, you guys. Made for TV movie. So I was going to say this earlier because American Pie came on. I was going to tell this story. I think I've told it before. I don't know, but you know, I wasn't really like ever super social. Well, you guys know that. I've talked about that, like how I had... Seriously, come on. You know, I have like really bad social anxiety. Well, in high school it was horrible. Junior high and high school it was really bad. And you know, really like my mom and my dad were like my best friends, like growing up. Like they were the only ones I really did stuff with. I would have a friend here and there that I hung out with, but I mean, no really like long lasting friendships really. And one guy that I was like friends with off and on, but then his family moved away to Arizona. So, and before that he was like really involved in like band and things. So yeah, I didn't really have any friends. And then like my 9th grade year, I mean, I would have people that like I was in this acting group for a while, and like I had a friend through that for like, we would ride together to it, you know, but like we weren't really close. Or like, you know, when I played tennis, I would like make friends, but like they weren't like long lasting friendships. They weren't like, you know, like I had a best friend. It was nothing like that ever, you know? And I just was a really lonely kid. Like I really had nobody. And you know what's interesting about it is I don't really know that until I started talking about it on here and stuff, that I really realized how lonely I was. Like until I started actually like kind of taking an evaluative look back at my growing up in my childhood, I don't think I really even realized how lonely I was. I was really lonely. And I guess I didn't feel that way because my parents did such a great job of entertaining me. You know, my mom, like in the summers and stuff, she always had friends visiting with their kids. So it was like, you know, like I had people around. I just didn't have any like good friends. Do you know what I mean? And then in 9th grade, well, this friend of mine, this girl that I saw last night, like she and I were always friendly. I would say, like in elementary school, we were really good friends. And then like in 6th grade, we were friends. But like in 7th grade, I don't know what happened, like what happened in 7th grade. I don't really remember because like in 6th grade, I remember 6th grade and I have like this stupid camera tonight. I don't know why it keeps on taking me out of focus. Come on. You know, when people say stuff like what kids are going through and whatever, like, it's just not like that big of a deal. Like, it just doesn't really matter, you know, and they're younger. Like, that's such crap. You know, in 6th grade, I can just remember, like, I not too long ago, I found these, like, pictures in my basement because I'm, like, organizing all of my pictures. And I have all these pictures that I took on, like, the last day of 6th grade. And I remember we had, like, this area that you would, like, step down in at the junior high. And they kept all the 6th grade lockers like together. And so like all the 6th grade lockers were like in this area that was like 3 steps down, and it was like this carpeted area, and all the 6th grade classrooms were together. It was very isolated. This camera, you guys, I'm sorry, it's driving me crazy. And it was very isolated and whatnot. So I have all of these, they must have given us like, had a pizza party or something that day and given us time to like sign everybody's yearbooks, because I have like literally like 100 pictures that I took of me with like everybody from the class, like, and we're all friends and we're all smiling. And I think it was like the first time that I ever felt really like accepted in school, because it was like all of the elementaries, it was like 4 elementary schools, or I think like that 4 or 5 that all came together to one junior high. And so that year the bullying wasn't that bad, my 6th grade year. And I remember I had this male teacher, and he was just so nice, and he was like, our whole class loved him, and he, you know, just was funny, and he just was really a nice guy and like cared about all of us, and he just wouldn't have tolerated that crap in the classroom and stuff, you know. And I didn't even remember his name and everything, and I just remember it was just a great year. And I feel like there was still kind of an innocence to all of us then. And you know, 7th grade came, and that summer I was friends with these, from 6th grade to 7th grade, I was friends with these 2 girls, and like the whole summer we hung out together every single day. And then 7th grade started, and I kind of thought it was going to be the same as, I remember thinking it was going to be the same as 6th grade, and I don't really know what happened over the summer to everybody else. But like everybody else grew up really quick. One of the things that's important, Tanya and I were actually talking about this, because her son and my son were very similar in that, like, her son was even more so because he was like younger. But or no. Tanya was talking about her, like, and she and I were very similar with this. And then she was thinking about, like, when Nick was growing up, that, you know, we don't do this as much anymore, but like holding people back and pushing them forward as far as grades and things like that. But they recommended that my mom hold me back, because my birthday is actually after the year is over. So since my birthday is at the end of June, like everybody else like had turned that age and was that age for typically the whole year, or that year would turn like that age, whereas I would turn that age the year after, like the summer after, going into the next year. Does that make sense? So for example, I didn't turn 18 until I graduated from I graduated from high school, and then I turned 18. I don't think that's as uncommon today, and I don't really think it affected me in any kind of negative way. But I do think, like, maybe like maturity-wise, like when everybody else was thinking about like dating and hooking up and all that other kind of stuff, I think like I was not there, maybe. I don't know, like, I also think me being gay, like, in retrospect, I was not there, because I didn't have any counterparts that, you know, like, it wasn't like that was like normal to everybody else, if that makes sense. So, but that whole summer, I was friends with those girls. I mean, even like that August, like my mom and I and this girl and her mom, we went to Chicago and went school clothes shopping, and spent a whole week in Chicago going to the museums and stuff. And because they had like a place in Chicago, and I remember just like thinking like the whole year was going to be like that. And like as soon as 7th grade started, it was different. It was, I had nobody, and everybody had clicked off, and it was like all the athletic people went with the athletic people. And I played tennis, but I played in leagues and had a coach in the evening, so it wasn't like I was playing like at school, you know, at that point. And then so all the athletic people were sticking together, or all the, you know, music, and I had nobody. I literally had nobody. I can remember just being so, it stopped. I can just remember being so absolutely so lonely that whole year. And 8th grade too. 8th grade was worse. I sanded my finger off in 7th grade. I was in a shop class, and I didn't want to take the shop class. And it was between, like, you either had to take shop or home ec. And this is so backwards how I look back at things now. Your two options were shop or home ec, okay? And I can remember saying to my counselor to pick the class from 6th grade going into 7th grade that I wanted to take home ec. And he was like, or she was like, you don't want to take home ec. And I think she, like, knew, like, you know, but, like, I didn't know anything about shop. And I got my, like, I literally, like, blew out my fingers. Like, it went right into the sander when we were making door stops. And I had this teacher that yelled at me. He was like, I mean, I'm, like, literally, like, bleeding out of my finger, you know, all over the place. It was bad. And he was like, my God, are you so stupid? You're not even, and all the kids are laughing at me and stuff like that. I didn't even want to be in the effing class, you know? And, like, we think that stuff doesn't, like, stick with us. It sticks with us, you know? It took me years to get over that stuff. Only to the point where, like, there was a period in my life where I couldn't even talk about that stuff, you know? So 7th grade was, like, really dark for me, you know? And that was when I was, like, on weekends with my dad, you know? He had moved into his new house, and my stepmom had moved in, and they weren't, did they get married then, or did they get married? They got married when I was 12. And that was when I had, like, nobody, like, you know, my dad and them, they would go to bed at, like, 9 o'clock in the evening, and on the weekends, I was just, like, so I was drinking in my bedroom. You know, I was stealing alcohol from my dad and my stepmom, and I would drink in my bedroom. And I became completely silent to the world. I, like, didn't talk to anybody except for my mom, my dad, and my stepmom. You know, I mean, I'm sure, like, on holidays with my aunt and uncle and stuff, I didn't see them, you know, really as much as I had before, because now my mom and I weren't going over to my aunt and uncle's as much. On weekends I was there because I was older. And my mom's drinking was really heavy, and I just really had nobody. I was completely alone. And I wasn't, like, super smart in school. And I don't remember that being a big period of me reading either. I really don't. I don't really remember a lot from, like, this is weird talking about it, because I just don't remember tons from that period of my life. Those 2 years, 7th and 8th grade, were really kind of like, I mean, I know that we kind of make a joke out of it when, like, beauty influencers and say, like, I was in a dark space, but, like, that was a dark space for me. Like, and I think the really scary thing is that nobody knew. Like, I don't remember anybody being real concerned about it. Or, I mean, I must have put on a good act or something, I don't know. But in 9th grade, you know, the other thing I think happened in 7th and 8th grade was, you know, in, like, kindergarten through 5th grade in elementary school, well, in 6th grade too, it was the same way. You know, we were segmented together by certain people. So, like, for example, this girl that I had been friends with all along, but she wasn't one of the two girls that I was friends with in 6th grade. Those were two completely different girls that I had met and become friends with. And so I think, like, in 6th grade, like, she and I kind of, like, we were still friends, but, like, she did her thing and I did my thing. And then in 7th grade, I think she had developed a group of friends, because I had developed these girls, you know, over that year. And so she had developed her group of friends. And then what happened was in 7th and 8th grade, no longer, we're like a class here, a class there, a class here. Classes are all over the school, right? They're no longer just in one little protected area, and you're not, like, in the same homeroom every day and stuff. And, which, you know, is interesting. I'm thinking about, like, some of my friends. I have some friends of mine that went to very, very small Christian high schools and schools and stuff like that. And they literally were with the same 30 or 40 people the entire time they were, like, growing up. And that kind of, like, they aren't super sheltered like you would think they are. They're actually, like, maturity-wise, they are pretty on it. Like, I almost kind of wonder if I would have done better in, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe not some super hardcore Christian school, but, like, you know, a smaller school like that, I think I probably would have done much better. Where I, you know, had the same group of friends for 40, you know, the same 30 people that I hung out with, and the same, you know, even if I didn't have the same teachers, see the same, you know, teachers in the school system in and out, you know what I mean? Like, but then I think what happened in 7th and 8th grade was we all just kind of went our separate ways, and so she and I weren't in homeroom anymore together. And Yeah, and so I had nobody. And I ate lunch every day by myself. I went to the library a lot. I spent a lot of lunches at the library. And actually, the one guy that I became friends with that ended up being like really interested in like band, like not interested in band, but he was like really big deal in band. He, whose family moved to Arizona. I met him like in the library because we were both kind of like, you know, kids that didn't fit in. And so we would just like hang out in the library. And I remember that's like where we met, but we weren't really friends until later. I don't even remember how that happened. And he lived really close to me too. I remember I would sit there and just talk to the librarian. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how I was allowed to do that for lunch in retrospect, you know, but she allowed me to do it. I don't know. Maybe she just knew, like, you know, this kid doesn't have anybody to eat lunch with or something. I think I helped her or something. I think I helped her shelf books and stuff. I don't know. You know what's really weird? Out of everything that I ever talk about on here, I don't know why I don't like talking about that period of time. Like, it makes me, like, I almost wonder, like, really, like, how dark that period of time was for me, that I, like, look back on it and I don't really, I didnne even really know how bad it was, if that makes sense. Like, I look, like, as I'm talking about it, it's just, like, I don't like talking about it. But then in 9th grade, so in 7th and 8th grade, I kind of developed my own sense of style, and it was weird because, like, you know, I was listening to a lot of, like, that was when I came into my own with, like movies and music and, you know, and I think for people that are kind of, like, artistically different or individualistic a little bit and whatever, outside of the norm, so to speak, like, I think in high school, I think we do find our way through music and art and movies and books. Well, that was what started happening. Maybe not so much in, like, books for me, because like I said, I don't remember reading a lot during that time. Some, but not a lot. But I was really into movies and music. And it started with me listening to a lot of folk music, because, you know, my mom was really into folk music, and then my dad was into all different kinds of music, and I started, you know, listening to a lot of what, like, my parents listened to. And, but then that kind of developed me, like, really getting into kind of, like, punk music. And because I can remember my mom, like, really encouraging me to, like, find music that I liked. I can't remember what would have been the band. There would have been, like, a crossover. Maybe it was Led Zeppelin. I don't know. Because my mom really liked Led Zeppelin. But there was a... well, I started reading these magazines that were called ID. And they were from England. And I remember in the back, I used to love them. I don't know if they still... I don't think they still have them. I think I looked a while ago. Or if they do, they're really expensive. But in the back, they had all of these, like, street style pictures. And so they literally would just take pictures of people, like, out at clubs and or pubs and on the street. They were, like, one of the first street style magazines. And so, like, they would have guys that had, like, button down collared shirts, like, you know, like, that were kind of, like, really, like, waif-like, very thin. And they would have, like, button down collared shirts that were, like, buttoned up all the way, you know, like, over their jeans rolled up with black Doc Martens. And I just started dressing this way. Well, these two girls moved here from Wisconsin that were twins, and they were real different, and they noticed me right away. And so I was sitting by myself at lunch one day in 9th grade, and I had, like, band stickers on my folder or whatever, and they came over and they started asking me questions about bands. And you know, it's interesting, I've never really thought about this, like, the coincidence of all of this, but anyway, and so they started asking me about bands, like, if I liked this band, that band, and at first it was bands like Led Zeppelin, or, you know, the Sex Pistols, or things like that, you know, and Sonic Youth. But then it was like, and in that moment, I wanted to fit in so bad. They were like, do you like the band Orange on the Table? And I was like, oh yeah, I love that band. And they're like, oh really? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, have you heard their new song, Lunch is Over in 10 Minutes? And I was like, no, I haven't, you know, but I really want to hear it, you know? And they were, like, making these songs up. And so they were like, these two girls were constant, like, they would always, like, their favorite question to ask was, like, is it round or a donut or something like that? They would ask you these questions that made no sense. They just were constantly they were like those twins, you know. They ended up becoming two of my very dearest friends in the entire world. I just talked to one of them the other day. But anyway, they had become really good friends with we'll just call her Judy going forward, like everybody else. But anyway, they had become really good friends with my friend that I had grown up in elementary school being good friends with. Like, it was like her, the twins, and then this other girl, the four of them had become really good friends. I didn't know that. So then they were like, and they told me that day, I'll never forget, they were like, you're gonna start eating lunch with us. And I think they felt bad for me. And I was like, okay. So the next day I came to lunch, and my friend that I hadn't really talked to in 2 years was sitting there, and I think she felt bad because I think they had said something to her about me or whatever. And from then again, like, she and I were really close. But what happened this summer after 9th grade was, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a way to get anywhere. For some reason, like, I feel like I was at my dad's a lot that summer. I don't know why. My mom may have been going. There were periods of my life that I was at my dad's house, like, for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, that I look back on it, and I don't remember really having a decision about that, but I have a feeling that my mom was going, like, I don't remember it, like, being told you're going to be at your dad's house for 4 weeks, but I look back on it and I was like at my dad's house for 4 weeks. Does that make sense? And so I think, like, maybe my mom was going through, I mean, I've never really even had that conversation with my dad. I need to, you know, like, I don't know, maybe my mom was going through treatment options, or maybe she was just couldn't take care of me for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. I don't know, you know. But that whole summer of 9th going into 10th grade, like, I was at my dad's a lot that summer. So I didn't really, and we didn't have cell phones, you know, and I didn't really talk to anybody. And so yet again, another summer where I was by myself. And, but that was like the last summer. That was like, my mom's drinking was bad in high school. That was like the last time that, because she started consistently getting jobs after that, and she was working a lot, and she was either working in school systems or she worked in retail. And, because the following year, or was it that year? Maybe that was the summer. Maybe it was the summer from 8th going into 9th that I was at my dad's house the whole time. I don't know, but there was one whole summer where I would every day get up and I would cut these vegetables. This was either before my junior year or before my sophomore year. I honest to God cannot remember, but I feel like it was maybe it was before my sophomore year, because that was when I went to the high school. Well, that would make sense, because my mom and I were close that summer, because going into 10th grade was when we went to Beaver Island to visit our friend. So that would make sense that was the summer. I think that's because right before, like, I went to school, I got my hair cut really choppy and kind of spiky, and it was very like punk rock. And I, like, went to school. That was it. It was going into 10th grade. And so I, like, every day that summer, I would cut up vegetables, like raw vegetables, and I put them in this little container in the refrigerator, and I would eat them like, that was my lunch. And then for breakfast, I would eat like a thing of yogurt, and I literally lost like 30 pounds that summer. And my mom and I would take a walk every night, like for a couple miles. And yeah, that was going into 10th grade. And that was probably like the first official, like, real diet that I was ever on. And, but it was like almost all vegetables. Like, in the evening, my mom would make me something like really healthy. I can remember in the evening, like whole wheat pasta, which I hated, and like, you know, chicken breast and things like that. But I was like, I'm losing weight, like I'm getting into shape. Because I can remember I went back to school and people were just like, what happened? I always want to say that that's like going into my junior year, but it had to have been going into my sophomore year. So anyway, when I came back my sophomore year, you know, like, my friend, everybody's a year ahead of me, right? So everybody's like, so I would have turned 18 after I graduated. I would have turned 17 after my junior year. I would have turned 16 after my sophomore year. So everybody was turning, like, had already turned 16 or was going to be 16 my sophomore year, right, in high school. So my friend, I was just talking to her the other day, like, when I saw her the other night, her birthday is in August, and, she's like, because I can remember her birthday, she's kind of looked at me like, how do you remember my birthday? But anyway, And I don't remember people's birthdays. Like, that's one thing I am not good at. So she was 16 before we ever even got into our sophomore year in high school. And I remember she had a car because her parents, like, got her this, like, or it was like one of theirs. It was like a hand-me-down, older Cadillac Riviera. Do you guys remember those with that thing that went down in the back? And it had this sunroof in it. We loved that car. And she had a CB radio hooked up to it, and we would play CB tag and stuff. But I can remember it was like a cool night in fall. It was like in October. And they asked me if I wanted to go and hang out. And I was like, well, what are we gonna, like, do? And like, up till then, I was just seeing him at school and all that kind of stuff, you know, like, really, like, nothing had come, like, I would eat lunch with them every day, like, that group. And then at that point, there was, like, another girl that had joined the group who, like, I'm still really good friends with now. And then there was, like, 2 other girls. Like, the group was getting bigger. So anyway, they were like, we're gonna go hang out tonight, like, just, and I was like, hang out, do what? And they're like, hang out, like, we hang out, like, every weekend, don't you want to come? And I was like, well, what are we gonna do? And they're like, I don't know, we don't know what we're gonna do. And so I remember that was like a Friday night, and they wanted me to, like, hang out on a Saturday night. And I asked my mom, and I can remember my mom was, like, super nervous. She was like, which is so funny because, like, I never had a curfew or anything, you know? But, like, I can remember she was, like, super nervous about that. And she was like, well, what are you guys gonna do? And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, Mom. Like, we're just gonna, like, drive around and hang around or whatever. And she was like, well, where are you guys, who has a license? And I can remember saying, and she knew this friend of mine. And, but we ended up not, like, her, she wasn't the one that drove, my friend. So anyway, my mom let me go. She was like, okay. She was like, you know, go have fun, be safe. And I remember this girl that was a senior actually drove, and she was the sister of a guy that was in our class. And she was actually, like, a really good girl. She ended up being in my master's program for social work, and she was like a year older than me. And she and I were in, we had this, like, practicum unit together that in this elementary school. So she was a really neat girl. But anyway, very smart. Like, not, it was fun. My group, looking back, is kind of funny. Like, we were, like, punk rock / kind of, like, some of my friends were very smart and, like, never got in trouble, and the other ones were, like, we were in trouble all the time. But anyway, so, like, there was a real innocence about our group to some degree. But I can remember that she drove her mom's station wagon, like, old school. Oh, this stupid camera. I'm so tired of it tonight. Come on. So she drove her mom's, like, old school station wagon. And, I can remember, I'm just gonna stop it, I'll be right back. Okay, I don't know if it's maybe because I don't have the light on, like this light, that it does that. But it's much easier for me to drive without the light on because it doesn't, like, affect my eyes while I'm driving. And I'm sorry that it keeps on going out of focus. I don't really recognize it because I don't look in the camera. But I remember we drove around that whole night. We went downtown and it was like, we walked around and, you know, like, I can remember I was, like, wearing, like, jean jacket, you know, like, I was real into the sport coat or the jean jacket era. And always wore, like, concert t-shirts or button-down collared shirts buttoned all the way, and with sport coats and stuff, you know, like, that I got at thrift stores, and jeans and, like, big Doc Marten shoes. You know, that was always my look back then. And or kind of, like, chunky hair, you know, always, like, blonde and brown mixed together. And I had a couple different colors of hair, but that was typically it, like, blonde and brown. I had blonde, really blonde hair for a lot of high school. I colored it with Nice and Easy, and it was the highest color that you could get, the highest blonde. That was Nice and Easy. You mixed it in a bottle, you put it in, and you shampooed it out. And my hair was, like, platinum banana blonde, like, most of high school. So yeah, and I remember we drove downtown, and we walked all around the circle and stuff like that, and walked around, and just just being stupid, you know? And then I remember, like, driving home, and it was like 3 of us in the back seat of the station wagon looking out. And I remember next to me was, I don't remember who the third person is, but the one next to me was my friend. And maybe it was just the 2 of us back there, I don't know. Who I ended up, like, she's who I went to the reunion with, and she and I are still, like, really good friends today. I don't talk to her very often, but, like, when I do, like, it's like no time went by. And, so they, on the radio came on American Pie. This is why I was going to tell the story, by Don McLean. And it's kind of like one of those songs that, like, I think if you grew up, like, in our generation, like, everybody knows that song, because, like, everybody's parents sang that song, you know? And so we were, like, it was, like, on full blast, and we're all, like, singing it. And I just remember that moment of that feeling of sitting in the back of that station wagon looking out, you know? And I think that was, like, the first time I'd been, like, you know, like, out on the streets with friends, like, smoking a cigarette or something, too. You know, like, I felt part of the group, you know? Like, it wasn't like we didn't party or anything that night. It wasn't like we got drunk or did drugs. We didn't do any of that. It was very innocent. You know, we just walked around. I think I smoked a couple cigarettes or whatever, you know, and that was it. And, I do remember, though, from that point on, though, because when I started smoking, well, I used to steal cigarettes from my mom, but, like, when I first started having cigarettes on me, because at that point, you only had to be 16 to buy cigarettes, I smoked Camel Lights for a long time, and I would always have a pack of Camel Lights with me then. After that, like, probably that was first couple times out, I always had cigarettes on me. And most of my girlfriends smoked Marlboro Lights, so that was, like, the big cigarette when I was, like, growing up. I think people still do smoke those a lot. But anyway, I hardly smoked anything when I first started, though. Although I do remember being at my dad's house and, like, drinking and, like, hanging out the window, like, taking the screen out of the window and hanging out the window and smoking a cigarette. And I, like, literally got caught, like, the first or second time I did it. And, but anyway. And I felt, you know, for the first time in my life, like, part of something. Like, I felt like part of, like, a bigger group, you know? And I think that's probably why my parents allowed me to, like, go out and do stuff a lot. My friends were good, too. Like, I think about that, you know, like, my dad, like, from my dad's house to my mom's house is probably 25 minutes. And, like, my friends would take me out there and drop me off at my dad's house and, like, pick me up and, like, take me, like, I can remember that. Like, that's crazy to me, you know, that they were so nice to, like, drive me all the way out there and drive me all the way home just so I could go out with them, you know? Until I got my own car, which I didn't even get my own car until, well, going into my junior year in high school would have been when I had my car, and was able to drive. I remember seeing that movie Mermaids with Cher and, what's her face? It's in Stranger Things now. Why can't I think of her name? Winona Ryder, and she says, Cher's her mother, and she's always wants to be on the road and go. And remember, she only makes hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. And her daughter's name is Charlotte. It also actually has the guy that plays Jake from 16 Candles in it. But she says to her in that movie, Charlotte, cars are freedom. And I can remember hearing that and thinking, God, that's so true, you know? I love, like, ever since I ever was able to drive, like, I've loved just being in a car and driving. Like, I love everything about it. And, I don't know. I just love it. But that night, I felt part of something. I felt included. And I remember I can just see myself, like, back there, and we're all singing, Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. And it was just, like, such this moment, you know, in time. Like, I'll look back on that, and, I mean, so many things happened with my friends and I in high school, but I think that was, like, the first, like, very connected moment. And then after that, it was like every weekend, Friday and Saturday. Every weekend I was doing stuff with them. And I was part of a group. And then I was part of the group, you know? And I'm so thankful for those girls. I would never, I don't think I would have made it through high school if it wasn't for them, you know? So thankful for them. And then, you know, as like time went on, like my junior and senior year, I was friends with other like people. I have a very, very good friend of mine from high school. She actually watches every single vlog. She comments and everything on here. She can out herself if she wants to, but she watches every single one of my vlogs, and she was one of my dearest, closest friends in high school and after high school. And you know, I think about like when I met her, because she was a year behind me, and one of my, probably my best friend that I had my senior year was my friend that was a year behind me. I also dated this girl my senior year, well, like part of my senior year. And I was trying to think the other day, like how I met my friend that watches the vlog. I bet you probably remember. I need to ask you. You would probably remember. I don't remember how we met. But I almost kind of think it was through my girlfriend, not through my friend. But she was also friends with so there was this girl that was a year behind me. She and I have the same birthday. She actually lives in Portland, Oregon now, and she owns her own painting company, and she's very cool. She's very beatnik and different. She always has been, and she's always danced to the beat of her own drum, and I've just always adored her. And just very unique, grounded person, happy, but very real, you know. Great energy. I actually haven't talked to her in a while. I need to call her and talk to her. But we had the same birthday, but we're a year apart. And she was like my best friend, like my senior year. And I think she may have been the first person I came out to. I sometimes kind of wonder who it was looking back, and I can't remember. I think she may have been the first person I came out to. And the painting in my living room, that's me with long hair, that's like over our mantle. She did that painting for me. So anyway, but I do remember my friend that watches my vlog. She did an exchange program in France for the summer. I don't know how I remember this. And I remember she came back, and she had like, so she's always kind of had this kind of like short, bobbish kind of blonde hair, all one length. She's very cute in high school. And so I remember she came back, and I like took my friends out on the boat, and it was like her and like two of my other friends. I remember one of my friends wanted to go. My parents, I think my dad and my stepmom were out of town for the weekend or something. My one friend wanted to go water skiing, and she didn't have a bathing suit. And I remember she went water skiing in like a wire bra and like underwear. I was like, I cannot believe we're gonna do that. But anyway, so my friend, she came back from France, and the Black Box album, which ended up becoming famous here in the club scene, she got it and brought it for me because she knew how much I loved music, and she brought it from me. And I remember I could just see her on the back of this like speedboat, and she's sitting back there, and she has this like white bikini on, and like she can't be bothered. And here's my friend water skiing like in her because she wanted. This girl was like so like always like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I was like, you don't even have a bathing suit. She's like, I don't care. I've got a wire bra. It's like a bathing suit. Who cares? And I remember we were out there. It was just so funny. I don't know how I remember that. I also remember my friend that watches my vlog. I remember she and I and the girl that I was friends with, I also remember us going one time with the girl that I dated. I don't know how I remember that, but going to two different places. One was Schultz's. It was this restaurant at Glendale Mall, but they also had one downtown. We went to the one downtown. We sat in the basement and we smoked clove cigarettes, I remember. And then we'd also go for fondue a lot. Anyway, she and I thought we were quite bougie. We know we're not now, don't we? Anyway, but we thought we were. We were kind of cool. We really were. I remember she dated this guy in high school. I've talked about this on here before. She dated this guy in high school. I can remember his name and everything. I don't know how I remember that so much. But he like wanted me to like him so bad. And I don't know why. Like, she had a lot of friends that, like, other than me. I don't know why me, but he would always come up and basically, like, kiss my ass. It was, like, the weirdest thing. And I remember him, God, it's so weird. I can totally remember his name. And I was, like, I could see him and everything. And kind of feel like he wasn't very nice to her, though. Like, I don't know, maybe there was more to the story, but isn't it funny what you remember and what you don't remember in high school? I do know, though, that had those girls not befriended me, I don't know where I would have ended up, you know? High school was rough enough for it as it was for me. I can't imagine what it would have been like if I hadn't had any friends at all, you know? And I think there's a lot of people that don't have friends. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of this one girl that we were all friends with, and I always try to think of her last name, and because I want to look her up on Facebook, and I can never remember her last name, and I was like, okay, well, my friend that watches this, she'll know what her last name is, because I think she knows who, I think she knew her. She was in her grade. Anyway, old times. Seems like old times. I wonder if my friends in high school, if I would have said to them, they said, what do you think you'll be doing 30 years from now? And I said, well, I'll be driving it around in a car, and I'll be making videos that I post for people to watch every day. They would have been like, what? We didn't even have cell phones. Hello, wake up. We didn't. There was no YouTube, okay? There was no, like, the dial-up internet was like, there was nothing, boys and girls, okay? For those of you that are out there that are younger than us. Our computer lab had, like, maybe 3 computers in it. Oh my God, I look back on that and think, what, how, God. We would have like assignments in high school where we had to like set up email. That was like 50% of your grade. And you had to email the teacher something. And that would like legit be like 50% of your grade. You guys, I'm not lying, okay? Like that's how bad it was when we were in high school. Oh my God. I can see the computer lab, and this is what is so funny because, so I tell stories all the time, you know, about the up with people and all that kind of stuff. But there was this girl, I don't know why I can't remember what her name is, but I can see her in there, and she was like, she worked in like the computer lab, and I don't know why I would have gone in there because I like never went in the computer lab, but I can totally see the computer lab, so I would have had to have gone in there for something. But I remember I was in there one day. Oh, I totally just remembered her name. And she was like, you need to, like, you should join Up With People. And I was like, what is Up With People? And I didn't know what, I had no clue. And she was like so pushy about, she's like, we get to travel the world. And she gave me like this brochure and everything. I don't know how I remember this one moment in time, but like Kelly Clarkson, a moment like this. But she was like holding me this brochure. She's like, we get to travel the world and we get to go to all these places and whatever. And we're up with people. And we go and we talk to people and sing to people about Jesus Christ, our Savior, the Lord. And I was like, oh my Lord. I need a cigarette, I think. It was a lot, you know, like somebody coming right out like that at me, witnessing to me, like basically in the computer lab of high school. I wasn't ready. I needed some time. And I think I did go have a cigarette in the smoking lounge. We had a smoking lounge in my high school. By the way, the battery is dying right now, so I'm gonna have to pull in here and replace. How did I go through a battery? Have I really been talking that long? No, but true story, we did. We had a computer lab. We had a smoking lounge, and we could smoke out there. You could smoke out there, you know, when you're in high school, because it was 16 was the legal age to buy tobacco and smoke. And they changed it while we were in high school to 18. And I can remember my friends. Well, they must have changed it the year that I turned 16, because I can remember I couldn't do this, but they could. They would go into gas stations and they would hold up their ID and they would say grandfathered in. And they would do, gas stations would let them buy these cigarettes, because basically it means that they were like grandfather claused, which means that they like turned 16 before the law passed, which is so stupid. I don't think that means anything, but they would let them buy cigarettes. And so then it turned to 18. When I started smoking cigarettes were like $1.15 or $1.35 a pack, somewhere in there. I can't remember. They were super cheap, because we used to say, if cigarettes ever get to be $1.50, we're quitting. We would say that all the time. $1.50. Can you even imagine? Anyway, is this where I should pull in? Is this the easiest way to get in and get out? Change my battery. But we had a smoking lounge, and we would go in there and we would smoke. And then when we had pep rallies, we'd be out there. And the dean was such an ass. He was so mean, and he personally hated me, and I have no idea why. But anyway, I think he doesn't like gay people or something. But he came through there, and he would march us in, and all of us smokers and stoners. And then we had to like go and sit in the front row of the what do you call it? Of the gymnasium, so we could have this pep rally as if we even cared. Please tell me I brought another battery, or was that my second one? No, here it is. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. My camera is so hot right now. I have absolutely no idea how long I've been vlogging. I usually kind of look at the clock, but right now it's Boston more than a feeling. I'm telling you, the 70s and the 80s, on the 80s, well, anyway, I don't know that song. 70s, 60s, The Monkees, Pleasant Valley Sunday. 50s, Bobby Curtola, Fortune Teller. 90s, Tupac, California Love. Pop 2K, Nelly, Ride With Me. So yeah, let's see what's going to be on the 7s on 7 next. I don't know what is making me like listen to this music is making me think of like summertime. I don't know why. It's a lot of the music they play on here is like music that I played when I was a kid. True story, it is. I can remember them though for those pep rallies, marching us in there. And so horrible. I remember these two friends of mine. One of them was one of the twins. Like on pep rally days, they would not smoke in the smoking lounge because they knew that they were going to march us in. So they would go out to, they would leave and go like right through. Because it was between like the hallway where the cafeteria was and then the gymnasium. I mean, this doesn't exist today, obviously, because they don't have a smoking lounge. But they would have, between the two was where it was like this outside area where you would smoke. Which was horrible. I hate smelling like smoke, right? Like when I smoked so much back then, I hated smelling like smoke. And I still think the smell of smoke is nasty. And so when you're out there and you're smoking, you know, in the winter time, then you go into class, ugh, it stinks so bad. We didn't care though. We just did not care. I can remember all my girlfriends back out there that were not like, we were like girlfriends, like, you know, if I saw them at the, because we would go to the bowling alley a lot, to the Woodland Bullets where like all the stoners hung out and stuff. And I remember it was like every girl was literally like 35 going on 17. You know what I mean? And they had like the big hair, the big State Fair claw that was like this, that they literally like hold up with a hairdryer like this, and they would Aquanet it while they were like blow drying it. And then they would have the bangs that came back like this, and the hair that went down like this, like the permed hair that, you know, that they would like hold out and spray and hold out and spray. And then the back of their hair would just be solid flat because they wouldn't do anything with the back of their hair, right? And then they would wear like, you know, silk blouses unbuttoned down to like here, or they would wear like, you know, like turtlenecks or something, but like they would wear like, they all dress like 15 rings on each finger, gold rings, and then always the jackets, the black jackets with the fringe on it. Do you remember that? Oh my God, they loved those black jackets with the fringe, or the stonewashed denim jean jackets. Those were real big back then too. I mean, these were not my closest friends. My friends and I, we were very like punk and kind of different, and like into the Doc Martens and the thrift clothes and all that kind of stuff. But these were like friends of mine too. They just were like stoners and really into like Metallica, Def Leppard, AC/DC, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I'll ever be able to listen to I don't know that I could name 5 AC/DC songs, but definitely one of them I don't really care to listen to is Highway to Hell, after I've been listening to this Night Stalker book, because that was like his theme to killing people. But anyway, and they always had like high heel boots on. I can some of these girls, I can like remember their exact names and stuff, and they literally did date guys that were like a lot older. Like they would be like 16 and 17, they'd be dating like 23-year-old guys that were like construction workers and stuff. Like I can remember seeing them at the bowling alley. I'd be like, oh my God, her boyfriend has like a beard and stuff, you know? It was like this one girl, she is still friends of mine to this day on the Facebook and all this kind of stuff. She's always sending me messages, and she's so funny. She was like one of the funniest people I ever met in high school. I always told her she reminded me of Roseanne. She still does. But like the good parts of Roseanne. And I'll never forget the first night that I ever met her at, and like she's real good today. I think she might still smoke the Mary Jane and stuff like that, like quite a bit. And she's like raised her kids, and she's like good, you know, all that kind of stuff. But other than that, she doesn't do any of the other things. But I can remember the first time I met her, and it was my sophomore year in high school, and I was kind of still innocent to the world of things then, you know. And I can remember she used to always wear this stonewashed jean jacket. And the first time I ever met her, she came up to me and she was like, you're hot. And I go, thanks. Like I didn't know what to say. I was with my girlfriends, right? The bowling alley is like nobody would bowl, but it was like packed, you know, people bowling because like families would bowl, but everybody just stand out there and whatever, smoke cigarettes and stuff. So we were sitting there and I was talking to her. She's like, you're hot. And I was like, thanks. She had two crushes on she had two serious crushes in high school on two guys the entire time she was in high school, okay? One was me, and the other one was the quarterback of the football team. Makes no sense whatsoever. She still posts pictures of us every once in a while. It cracks me up. I love her to death. I absolutely adore her. And so anyway, I think we agreed to go to the reunion together at one point, but now the reunion's not till next year, so I don't know about all that. I need to reach out to her. So I was going through the bank one day, and she's now moved, but she did live real close to me, and she was inside at the bank, and I was like driving through, and because I would see her at the bank quite a bit because we lived real close to each other. And so the woman on the window that I know, she was like, Peter, I have a message for you. And I'm like looking down, I was like, and she goes, this young lady would like me to say, tell that hottie in the window. And I look up, and there she is. I go, oh my God, hold on, come outside, let's talk. So anyway, but the first time I ever met her, she was like, you're hot. And I was like, thanks. And she was like, you want some butane? She was huffing butane out of her, like she had this bottle of butane, and it was like in her, like she had her jacket pulled down over her. I'm like, no, I'm good. She's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. She's like, all right. Like, don't do that. That is bad, okay? That's how people die from sudden sniffing death syndrome. But that was like years before I knew anything about huffing. She's huffing butane, which I was like, oh my God. Good old weekend nights. I remember going to some parties though, like where my girlfriends, like, cause you know, a couple of my girlfriends like dealt weed and stuff like that and acid, and they would like get invited to these parties and stuff, and cause you know, like they would want, and like the jocks and stuff would want them there. And this is why I always have an issue with like who's gonna be there, how long are we gonna be there, things like that, because there was a couple parties that we went to where I was definitely not welcome, even though I was with my girlfriends. And, you know, that I would get the whole, like, why the hell is that, you know, F here? And, you know, then the girlfriend, I mean, it was very much like it plays out in a movie. You know, then the girlfriend would be like, you know, that guy's girlfriend would be like, man, lay off him. It's cool. He's cool. You know, he's here for the weekend. You know, like, let's just, whatever. All right, well, since she said it's okay, but if it were just me, I'd beat your ass. You know, it was like that kind of thing. I hated it. So I wouldn't go to parties. Like when my friends were going to parties, I stayed home on those nights. I didn't go. But a couple times, like we'd be out and they'd be like, let's stop by this party. I'd be like, I don't really want to, you guys. They'd be like, come on. I'd be like, well, who's going to be there? And they'd be like, just like 2 or 3 people. And we'd show up and there'd be like 30 people. And they'd always like, it'd always come down to something like that. I hated it. But I don't remember as many big parties when I was in high school as like small gatherings. So I could be wrong, but. All right, you guys, listen, I gotta turn around here and head home, and I'm gonna listen to my audiobook as I do, if I can ever finish my audiobook this year. Gotta finish it by the end of the month. It's a lot to consume. It's very dark, but I'm gonna sign off here now. So if you made it this far in the comment section, or if you made it this far, please, if you like this video, if you like this vlog, please consider giving it a big thumbs up, because that means the world to me. I would really appreciate it. And, excuse me. And also, please make sure that you're still subscribed to all of my channels. Check and make sure. If you're not already, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you're a Wolfpack member, that's all of us over here just trying to get through life one day at a time, telling stories, reminiscing, being kind to one another, trying to find the positive in the world, try to put positive into the world. Put a blue comment in the heart, put a blue heart in the comment section below, or anything blue that you want. I'd like to kind of see what people come up with that's blue. That would be kind of cute to see all the blue emojis in the comment section below. And yeah, so I hope you guys are having an amazing, I cannot believe it is Wednesday already. I hope you're having an amazing Wednesday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something exciting. Start a new book. Start a new movie. Finish a book. Finish a movie or a TV show series. Have some great food. Try something delicious. I don't know. And what else? Yeah, that's it. And do something, you know, put some positivity out there in the world. Do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow or the next day or next week or next month or next year or 10 years or 20 years or 50 years or 60 years or 70 or 80 or 69 years. Did I say that? Family friendly. Or 100 years. Just do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it. And one small step, you know, one small thing for today. And ask yourself, today, what am I going to do? Like when you get up, say, what am I going to do today? That when I look back on it will be something that I'm proud of. You know, it could be anything. It could be starting a journal. It could be, I don't know, spending more time with your family. It could be doing a puzzle. It could be, I don't know, working towards a goal. It could be whatever you want it to be. Maybe just trying to smile a little bit more. We could all do that. I know I could. Laugh a little bit more, you know, be kinder to people. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation. We need to do positive affirmations every single day, but at least one. Something to the effect of like, you are valuable, or you matter, or you are important, or you are loved. And, you know, go on and on and on with like, you know, you're a good son or a good daughter or a good, you know, father or good mother or, you know, good friend or good spouse or whatever. And every morning when you get up, look in the mirror and say, I love you, and do another positive affirmation and say, you know, you are valuable, or one of the other ones I listed. And, you know, like, you matter, you know, you're important, or, you know, you're a good person, or a good mother or daughter, father, son, friend, you know, whatever. And, I think that's it. Yeah, and every night before you go to bed, look in the mirror and say, every night before you go to bed, look in the mirror and say, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day tomorrow. I'm going to laugh, I'm going to smile, I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance. It's going to be a great day. Positive opportunities are going to come my way. And I'm going to have, what do I say? Positive experiences? What do I say? Amazing experiences are gonna, no, amazing opportunities are gonna come my way. Great opportunities, good opportunities, great opportunities are gonna come my way. And I'm gonna have really positive experiences all day tomorrow. And if I get my day off track, or if I get off track, I can start my day over whenever I want. And when you wake up tomorrow, say, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm gonna be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna talk to my friends, I'm gonna be productive, and yeah, it's gonna be just a great day overall. It's gonna be an amazing day. And if, you know, oh, and positive way, I'm gonna have great opportunities are gonna come my way, and I'm gonna have all kinds of positive experiences as well. And if my day gets off track, well, I can start my day over, well, not well water, but well, I can start my day over whenever I want. I can just go in the other room and say, I'm going to start my day over. And yesterday, I had to start my day over quite a bit. But you know what? I got through the day. I had a great day. I got a lot done and accomplished. And my sleep schedule suffered for it a little bit. I slept in today, but that's okay. You know, and I had a great day today. So, had an amazing day today. Also, make sure that you, or most importantly, make sure that you reach out to someone and let them know how much they mean to you. Just say, hey, I just want to let you know I was thinking of you. I love you. I care about you. Thank you for being in my life. Or if it's just somebody that's a friend of yours that you don't feel comfortable saying those things to, just say, hey, I was just thinking of you. How you doing? You doing okay? I was thinking of you. Miss you. You don't even have to say miss you. You could just say, dude, what's up? That's it, you know? And also practice random acts of kindness. But like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. Just do it because it's good to put kindness and love and compassion out there in the world, you know? And I think we could all use more kindness, compassion, and love, and I think we could all do a better job at putting it out there in the world as well, you know? Each and every day we can do a little bit more. It's like when you're in elementary school or kindergarten, you know, the teacher says, how high can you reach? And you reach and you reach and you reach. And she goes, okay, now reach higher. And you start jumping higher. And then she brings out chairs and says, now stand on your chair and reach even higher. And you think you can never reach higher, and you can just always reach higher. We can always do more. We can always be more compassionate, loving, and kind than we were, you know, or than we have been. So we have to remember that. And I think that's it. I'm driving through Zionsville. It's so cute through here, and I love these little houses. For some reason, these houses are reminding me of Amity from the movie Jaws. I don't know why. But anyway, little Cape Cods and small town, and walk to the town and get dinner and ice cream, and that sound like fun? Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and listening to me tonight. And I had fun vlogging tonight. This was fun. And I mean, I have fun every night, but tonight, I don't know why. I was all over the place telling little stories and stuff, and took me back. It's a good night. It's a good day to be sober, and it's a good day to be alive. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Of course, tonight I had to say I love you and good night just one more time. So that was your warning. Now here you go. I love you. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. I had to come back for one more second because I'm driving around and I was listening to my scary audiobook, and I was like, I gotta take a break for a second. And I turned on my Sirius radio to the 80s channel, and it's Pat Benatar, Heartbreaker. It is the summer of 80s music. The summer of the 80s is back. So anyway, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.